welcome to QETV Live Show. This is your host, Mrs. H. I really appreciate you tuning in on VoxWave.com. We have an exciting show lined up for you today. So this is what I need you to do. If you're watching me now, I need you to pick up your phone, go on your social media, and tell someone, because what we're going to talk about today is very much needed, some much needed information and a subject matter that I feel that is going to really inform you and put you in a position, because today we're going to talk about mental health. Mental health affects all of us, whether it's directly or indirectly. All of us can benefit from the information that will be shared today. So we have a lovely guest in the audience today that is a licensed therapist. So I'm really excited about that. We also have someone here that's going to also tell you about how you can connect with her in PG County and bringing about domestic violence awareness. So we got a great show lined up. Again, take your phone, pick up your phone. I want you to get in touch with someone on your social media, text someone, email someone, however you got to get the message out. Get the message out and tune in to VoxWave.com. Remember, our mission is we're bridging information, inspiration with information for everyday life. But as always, I always want to start the show off with a bridge building word. And today, the bridge building word, because of the topic that we will be discussing today, is just helping you to realize that you are important. Yes, you are important. You are someone. And I'm going to tell you how special you are. As I was reading, I was reminded, and the word builder for today is you're made in the image of the Almighty God. That's good news. In John 4:24, it says God is a spirit, and he that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. So remember that. God is a spirit. Then when we go over to Genesis 1:24, it says, God had you in mind. So you're not just a bang. You're not a theory. You're not a piece of matter. You matter because you were carefully made. You were created by the most awesome person in the universe. So that makes you awesome. So God said, you know what? Let us make man. Let us make man in our image. Remember, I just read over in John 4:24 that God is a spirit. So you were first made in the image and in the likeness of God. And he made a choice. He made a decision to make you. So don't ever let no one tell you you're not important and that you were an accident, because you are important to God. You're important enough that he decided to make you in his own image. Then he didn't stop there. Once he decided, let me make, it just could have been a thought. So once you have a good thought, and we're going to talk about good thoughts today, you got to act on that thought. So he thought about making you, and he didn't stop there. Then the Bible says he breathed into your nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. So the breath that you breathe, it is not yours to take. That breath comes from God. That breath was thought of by God. It came from him. And it says you became a living soul. Remember, God is a spirit. He decided to make you in his image and likeness. You are a spirit. He breathed into your nostrils the breath of life. You became a living soul. So now look at you. You're a spirit. You now have a soul. And there's the third part. He created you from the dust of the earth, clay. Yeah? Without God's breath, without God's spirit, you're just dirt. You're dust. But the beauty of it is you're more than that dust when you put God in it. And when God put his breath inside of you and blew on you, you became a beautiful living soul. So you're important to God. That's your nugget today. Made in the image and likeness of the Almighty God, the creator of heaven and earth, had you on his mind. So whenever you feel like nobody loves you, nobody cares, I want you to remember, someone cares. Someone loves you, and his name is Jesus. He loved you enough that he died for you, and he has given you now his life. So man is a three-part being. He's spirit, soul, and body. You possess a soul. You are a spirit, you possess a soul, and you live inside of a body. So you're made up of three. So that's what I want you to remember, and I want you to think about, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I'm just so thankful that God created you perfect, and God created you with a purpose. And you know what you spend your life doing? Our responsibility is now to spend our lives finding out from the one who breathed into us that breath of life, what our purpose in this life for. You have a purpose. We need you here. Everyone, we need each other. We can't live. And then over in Thessalonians, it says that Paul stated, I pray, and that's my prayer today. That's my prayer, and I'm going to end there. That's my prayer. Beloved, I pray that your spirit, soul, and body be preserved blameless. Preserved. God don't want you to mess it up, okay? Be preserved blameless until he comes. So there are some techniques today we're going to talk about, and some things that we want you to know about mental health, and to let you know and be aware of some things about domestic violence, that you don't have to have stigmas, suffer alone, be in fear, or be afraid, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Again, don't go anywhere. This is a great show lined up for you today. Right now, we're going to go on a station break, and I will be back.
So you like smooth jazz? Great. Horn of Plenty, Harvest Harmony from saxophonist Travis Bridges. Smooth jazz and all the sax you'll ever need. Available at travisbridges.com. 786-487-7338. Horn of Plenty from Travis Bridges. All the sax you'll ever need.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little love. But what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
welcome back. QETV Live Show. This is your host, Miss H. Again, we have a great show lined up for you today. Our topic today is about mental health awareness. And we have a lot of guests in the audience today, but we're going to go back to, just to reiterate, I was talking about how you were fearfully and wonderfully made. You are important. And that brings us to, sometimes it takes time for, when we become adults, to get that message through, because we've heard it for so long as children. You know, you're like your dad, or you're no good, or you get all this negative self-talk. That's why it's important for my next guest that starts children off at a little age, at a small age, because, you know, that's what we've been instructed to do, to train them up in the way they should think. And if you start with their minds and their brain while they're small, as a man think, so is he. So, Lewis, tell us what you do. We call this segment Papa and Friends, where he's training his grandchildren to be thinkers, to think like the image. You remember I just told you that God has formed you in his image and in his likeness, and that we are spiritual beings. We live in a soul, we possess a body, but in your soul, there's your mind, emotion, and your will. So if we're going to have children thinking like God, what is your topic today that you're going to share with me, and then you're going to share that word, and I'm going to be the child. I'm going to repeat it like you do with the grandkids at home, and then we're going to go from there. So what is your thing today, your word?
Love.
Love.
John 13:35.
Okay.
Which says, a new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another as I have loved you. By this shall all men know that you're my disciples, if you have love one for another.
Okay.
That was the one I did this morning with my grandchildren. I said,
so what is my confession?
your confession is,
okay,
thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
That I am a disciple.
That I'm a disciple.
Because I have your love.
Because I have your love
for others.
For others. Just that simple.
That simple.
You see how short and sweet? The grandkids are 4 years old, so we don't like to give them too much, but we're spooning, feeding them short, simple things to shape their thought process, so that when they get older, when someone say, I don't love you, or you're not loved, they have this to fall back on. And this is what we encourage you to do. They're never too young. Even from the womb, you can shape the mind, and you can have start helping them to develop that image of God that is on the inside of them. Also, we have a young lady here. I met her through a phone conversation, and it was just interesting because in meeting her, I discovered that we're having a VoxWave cruise coming up real soon, and we'll talk more about that. And it's on domestic violence awareness. One of the patrons here is hosting the cruise, and it's a fundraiser for domestic violence. And if you're interested in the boat cruise, you know, contact us, call us at 240-719-2560. You're watching VoxWave.com. You can call in and find out more about the cruise. But Nicole is here, and she has been tasked with a nonprofit organization called Integrity. And she's going to tell you about an event that she's holding and tell you about what it is that she do for women right here in our local area. Nicole?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Yes, my name is Nicole Tucker, and my organization is Integrity Enterprise. Integrity is an acronym for Inward Notion to Enhance and Grace, Reform, and Transforming You.
Wow.
That was a God-given vision. And so Integrity caters to young women who has been survivors of domestic violence, as well as sex human traffickers, and mental and substance abuse. And for me, I thought it was very important to add mental abuse and mental awareness to this organization, because without mental and domestic, they go hand in hand. you cannot speak about domestic violence without speaking of mental abuse.
Okay.
Just because the mental state has been crumbled, the mental state has been fractured. In order to structure them and have foundation, they have to go hand in hand.
Okay.
Yes. The event you were speaking on.
Yes, ma'am.
Is My Sister's Voice.
My Sister's Voice.
My Sister's Voice is an organization that caters simply and only to domestic violence, women who are surviving and or who's trying to get an exit plan on how to come out of those various situations.
Okay.
And that's August 19th.
That's all. And where is this event? Give us the time, place, and location.
Yes, that event is at Anacostia. The hours of that is 3 to 7:30 p.m. And there's a fee to that, which is $45. $45 for that event, because there's a lot of thought process within that. You speak about the programs for GED comes into that program. We help you do job workforce in that program as well. So a lot of that goes into that event.
So the money that they're paying is a $45 admission fee.
Yes.
But that money go towards equipping and helping these victims of domestic violence and to help them with job readiness skills
and financial literacy.
Financial literacy.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. And that's the reason why I wanted you on here, because I wanted the viewers to see, because we are going to be talking about, from a licensed therapist today, we're going to be talking about mental health and some things that people can look out for. But August the 19th, let's say that again, and then tell them where they can find you, your social media handles.
That's August 19th again.
Okay.
That's from 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. Anacostia Rec Center is what it is. The Eventbrite is Chi-Chi. It's Chi-Chi.com. We have flyers for that. And Eventbrite, you go straight to that and purchase those tickets. My social media is Integrity Transitional. Yes, and you'll find everything on that site.
So if they go to integritytransition.com, you can find all about Integrity Enterprises. Visit her website. Go to Integrity and put that date on your calendar and call Nicole. She needs volunteers. She needs people who may be testimonials that have come out of this and know you're important too, because you can help assist those that may be going through what you went through. So a testimonial is part of the healing process. So again, that's integrityenterprises.com with Nicole. Visit her website, and if you have any questions, give her a call, or you can call here, QETV Live. You can go back and call me at 240-353-3806. You're tuned in on voxwave.com. We're going to take another station break, and then we will play Natasha's bio and introduce our special guest today. Again, stay tuned. See you in a little bit.
Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, to Haitian immigrants. As a graduate of Temple University School of Education in Philadelphia, Natasha Paris holds a master's degree in counseling psychology and a bachelor's of arts degree in psychology from Baruch College. She has combined her love for counseling individuals who have experienced trauma of all kinds and or suffer from low self-esteem with her trained experience as a beauty consultant and makeup artist. Natasha Paris believes that etiquette coaching is a nice blend of the two worlds.
It is all about your smile, because smiling, it allows people to want to engage with you. And then if that person is not feeling up to par, your smile alone will allow them to want to have a conversation with you.
Natasha Paris offers the need to beautify and refine not only what is on the outside, but what is primarily on the inside.
People want to see your face, they want to see your smile, and they want to hear what you have to say. But if they're focused on your long lashes, the lashes when they go to the nail salon and they offer a deal, you get your nails and your lashes done together. And it's really big and it looks like you're, it's a whole lot. We don't want to do that.
She trains individuals to become confident in the areas of walking, talking, clothing presentation, skin, makeup, professionalism, and fine dining etiquette.
Well, everyone can benefit from etiquette. You're talking about every race, every ethnicity, from 5 to 99. And so don't feel like etiquette training is something that you're beyond. We want people, when they meet you, to see you and to hear you. We don't want people to get distracted by your lashes or your accessories or your colors. We want confident people. Most confident people will close deals a lot faster than those who are not confident. And etiquette training, Freedom Revealed, is all about liberating individuals and making them want to become better people, right? And empowering them to do better.
Well, welcome back to QETV Live Show with your host, Miss H. You're watching VoxWave.com. I hope you enjoyed that intro. And right now here in the studio, we have the renowned local all the way from Brooklyn, New York. She was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, but she lived here in the local DMV. We have Natasha Paris La Amand.
Saint Amand.
Saint Amand.
You say it so well.
Okay, let me try that again.
You're fine.
We have the lovely, the one and only, Natasha Paris Saint Amand.
Woo! And
how did I do it?
You did fantastic.
I did it.
You did fantastic. You said it with the French accent.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's a native of Haiti.
I'm Haitian.
Haitian.
My parents are from Haiti, and I was born in Brooklyn, so I'm Haitian American.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I speak French and Creole.
So why don't I let you tell your story? Give us a little background. I know you went to Temple University.
I did.
Tell us how you got into mental health.
Okay, so mental health, I've always had this passion for supporting individuals. Initially, I thought about becoming a pediatrician, and then I said, you know what, this is great, but my science is not the greatest, so I had to be a realist, right? But I found a way to really support families through mental health support, because there is a large epidemic of people who have been diagnosed, and there are many people who are walking around undiagnosed. And so my goal as a clinical therapist is to support individuals. I'm also an etiquette trainer, so my label and my title is the etiquette therapist.
Oh, am I sitting right? Square, shoulders, sitting back.
Yes.
You do that type of etiquette?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm certified as an etiquette trainer, but I'm also licensed as a therapist, so I've combined the two. And one of the things that I say to individuals is that I can support you, from a physical, from what you look like on the outside, but I can also support you from the inside, because I'm sure there have been a lot of people, or people that you've met, who have been a dressed up mess.
Yes.
Right? They look great on the outside, but there's so much going on the inside. And so it's so valuable to be able to support individuals where they are. So I have a practice where I work with couples, I work with individuals, and my background, I've been doing this for almost 16 years in 4 different cities, and really helping to educate individuals on what mental health is and supporting them where they are, so they're able to develop coping skills so they can have a fulfilling life, right, and live their best self.
And speaking of that, dressing the outside and not really addressing the inside. And that's what we talked about with you're made in God's image. What happened from a child to where you are now? Some things started to happen. So give us some signs or give us some clues to, first of all, identify what is mental health. Let's get a clear definition of mental health versus mental illness, especially in our Black community. I'm not saying this to shun anyone, but I know growing up as a child, I saw Sonny Boy next door. I knew he was special. I knew something was going on. And so we were just taught to say he was a retard. And that was wrong, but that's how I grew up. But the man across the street that was beating his wife, he was considered the deacon in the church. But little Sonny Boy was the retard. Okay, something's wrong with that picture. So in our community that we grow up in, we have these stigmas, we have these misnomers, we have these fears. Help us to, first of all, identify and understand, when you say mental health, am I just crazy?
No. Okay. So, and I'm glad that you've shared that and asked that really pertinent question, because what is the difference, right? Mental health is being able to be balanced. Mental illness is when there's something that's unbalanced. Okay. And so I often use the explanation of, like a scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Everyone deals with levels of emotion. Okay, when we're talking about emotion, we're talking about sadness, right? Extreme happiness and things of that nature, right? Happiness, sad, anger, frustration. All of us go through that. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 is, normal. Okay, from 1 to 5 is normal. And for example, if someone, I'm going to use grief for example, if one of your family members passed away, right? And it's normal for everyone to feel levels of grief, right? But what becomes abnormal in the eye of the mental health professional is when a person goes from, they're at like a 3, right? Because they're dealing with depression, they're sad, they have difficulty, engaging with what's normal with their friends or doing things that they often enjoy, right? Right. And they're feeling this way for about 2 weeks, maybe about a month. But what becomes abnormal is when that person is not able to get from a 3 back to a 7, and 10 is higher functioning, right? 1 is very, very low functioning. And so when that person is a 3 and they're unable to go back from where they were at a 7, they went from a 3 back to a 7, they find themselves not necessarily going back to a 7, but they find themselves going the other direction, like a 2 and a 1, which means that they have difficulty sleeping, they're not eating, they have withdrawn from, they're not working, or they stopped working, they're not able to function, they're not able to engage in activities that they once enjoyed. And that can last longer than a month. It can be 3 months. It can be 6 months. That's when we start to say something is happening. Something is happening. So there are a variety of mental illness diagnoses that we will see, right? From, something as small as, I hate to say small, but adjustment disorder, where you've dealt with a sadness or you dealt with a death, and you're just adjusting to what happened. Then you have on the higher spectrum is someone who's schizophrenic, right, or bipolar with manic episodes, and those are things that are controlled by medication and other things because there's an imbalance in the brain. Right, so there are other things that are going on. So when you talk about mental illness, you're talking about what is functional. Can a person function? And we look at oftentimes the 3 criteria: the frequency, how often does it happen? How often does the episode take place, right? We look at the duration, how long has it been, right? Are they still dealing with this episode or these symptoms for more than a month? Has it been 6 months? Has it been a year? Has it been 2 years? So we look at the frequency, the duration, and then last is the intensity. How strong is it?
Wow.
Right? How strong is it? Is it that I feel sad and I'm crying, or is it that I feel so sad that I want to end my life?
Wow.
Right? So that's the intensity. So these are the 3 criteria that normally the mental health professional and psychologists and psychiatrists we look at, right, to determine how, what level of spectrum of severity are we dealing with.
So if I were to come to you, or do I immediately just go to my regular doctor if I feel like, I'm experiencing some of these signs? Which direction do I immediately go in? Do I go to someone who's licensed, or do I just go to my regular care doctor?
Right, someone that you have
doctor.
a relationship with, right? Because if you are experiencing anything, you share it with a person that you're familiar with and that you're comfortable. So going to your primary care physician, your PCP, having that conversation with them, them asking you a series of questions, and then based on that, that determination, they can say, well, you know what, I will write you a prescription for a referral. We often say prescription. A prescription for a referral to a licensed clinical therapist that may be able to support you.
Okay.
Right? Because it's prescriptions usually is recommendation. People always associate prescriptions with medication, but it's often recommendations.
Okay.
Recommendations. And, and at that point, you can make a determination whether you want to see a professional in that realm of expertise.
So I shouldn't just go over Mary's house and sit on her couch and chit chat and say, oh girl, I just have these thoughts in my head. I don't know what to do with them. That's not the safest place. Or is that okay to start there?
Okay, it's okay to start there. But remember, oftentimes, if not all the time, your friends are going to be very judgmental. Your friends will be judgmental.
Oh, and they will tell you secrets, right?
Yeah, so they're not able to be very confidential, right? And you want to feel comfortable. So it's best to go to a very neutral location, speak to someone who you don't know, who's trained in that level of expertise, and they understand what you're dealing with based on what you're sharing, right? And also your information is kept confidential. But there's nothing like being able to talk to someone and not have any bias, right? Not be judged. It's a neutral playing field where you're able to go to someone, speak to them, and then, what I often say is I'll have clients that say, what do you think, Ms. St. Amand? What are your thoughts? What's your advice? And I say, if I were to give you advice, I would be your friend.
Oh,
I don't give advice. I don't give advice. What I do is I basically say what you've just told me. Because oftentimes when you're saying something, you're just sharing, right?
Right.
But when you hear it back and the person repeats it in just a different format, it clicks for many people. Because it becomes alive. It's like you were talking about God breathing into your nostrils. A therapist breathes life into your words, so you're able to see and hear what you just said, which allows them to process it. So a therapist processes information that you've shared, right? A therapist is not supposed to give you advice. That's not what we're supposed to do. Because God forbid you take our advice and it ends up being tragic. Guess who is blamed?
Wait a minute. You just shed light on some things. A therapist should not be giving you advice. They're repeating so you can hear your own thoughts and allow you to make a decision. But wait a minute. I like that, but then I'm kind of scary about that. Because if my own thoughts are not healthy, then what am I supposed to do? Because I came to you for advice. I need your advice.
I know, but we don't give advice. We may provide recommendations.
Oh, so you're going to send me somewhere else?
No, recommendations. And how that sounds is, what would you have done differently if you would have acted?
You're making me think. I don't want to think. That's what I came to you for. You think for me and you give me some advice. You help me.
Then I say, go to your girlfriend. Because as a professional, our job is to really support you where you are.
That's
Get
good.
you to think about your decisions, right? If you are unable to articulate what is happening to you at that moment, then there are other ways that we can support you, whether it's through meditation, whether it is giving you actual homework assignments, which I give a lot of my clients. You know, they know that I'm going, because 20% of what I do is in the office. Guess where the other 80 is?
Homework assignment?
It's you actually community, you actually doing the work yourself. And if there are people who are so, they're not able to really process because their mind is so cluttered, because there's so much, everything is so fuzzy, right? Right? And I know people often say, oh, medication, no. I've seen people, and this is, I always use this analogy. I have had clients who, and I use the analogy of being in a 6 feet ditch. Okay? Just imagine being in a 6 feet ditch. And I use lots of metaphors because I'm a visual learner and most of my clients are too. And so if you're in a 6 feet ditch, what I am able to do through my therapy is get you up to about 3 feet, 4 feet. You can see light. And there have been clients, not all of them, but there have been clients of mine when I've gotten them to about 4 feet and they still can't jump up. They still can't get to the top. And there are times when medication or natural remedies can support them moving up to that 6 feet level. So if they're at 3 or 4 feet, all they need is an additional push to get them up. And then they can actually receive what it is that I'm sharing.
But before you recommend the medication, do they have you made sure that, or have they actually tried on their own some of the remedies that you have given them?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is in addition to.
Yeah, this is in addition to. I'm not pro medication, but I have seen it work tremendously. If it's monitored, if it's the right dosage, if it's the right psychiatrist who takes the time to hear what you have to say, who manages you, who monitors your blood work, monitors you. Right, and we work collaboratively. Right, but usually that's the last resort. Right, you know, that's the last resort because I go into even working out. Right, people who are depressed. I really, that's my first recommendation. I say you need to start doing. You need to get engaged, whether it's running, whether it's joining a gym. Whatever it is. And some people will often say, well, most of them say, Miss Amand and Natasha, I can't. I have no energy. I'm exhausted. And I say to them, if you start, you'll notice that energy starts to come because the brain does something phenomenal. The brain creates these endorphins, which causes, it's positive energy. It gives you that boost to do more. And it helps, and it's the good feelings. It's the good, good chemicals, right, that allows you to feel better so you can do more.
So that even helps with the holistic approach. It's what I tell myself when I wake up in the morning. It's what I eat. It's how I look at things in life. So how does that holistic approach work for me? And how would you recommend suggesting to help a person take the first step in that direction?
What I would often say is that write it down. What do you want your life to look like at the end of this journey? Because you have to start somewhere, right? And so when you write it down at the end of the journey, what that looks like, then we can fill in the middle, right? Because here's your starting point. And here's your ending point, right? You write it down. So now what happens in between all of that, right? And what you can look at is, what are the things that I'm not doing that will get me to that end point? Oh, well, I'm not sleeping well. I eat lots of fast food, right? Right? I'm not just eating fast food, but it's a lot of sugar, this soda.
Is that a call? I hear a call on the line. Caller, you're on. Hello, caller. Okay, call us back, 240-719-2560. So I hear you say there's an old proverb that says that as a man thinketh, so is he. So positive affirmations is something that personally I do to help me.
Yes, absolutely.
To help me overcome a lot of sometimes negative self-talk that sometimes we're our worst critic.
Oftentimes. Not sometimes, oftentimes.
What can you say to a person that beat themselves up like that? Maybe that person don't need to go see a psychiatrist. Maybe they just need to change some of the things they're saying to themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big proponent of affirmations, writing things down, putting them in visible places that you frequent, whether it's the refrigerator, whether it is your mirror in your bathroom, and writing down, and repeating, I am beautiful, I am smart, I deserve more. Right? I deserve more. And writing it down, I always say just a small index card with a black Sharpie, and write it down and post it. Because when you're seeing it and you're repeating it to yourself, eventually you'll believe it. Right? It's something about writing things down that speaks volumes, right? Because if you don't write it down, the universe doesn't receive it, right? You have to you have to write it down, and you have to repeat it to yourself. You have to see it. And that in itself is a powerful. Reading, right? Reading, getting the good book, right? Yeah, the Bible and reading scriptures, practicing that, right? Meditating on that.
Yes.
Right? Surrounding yourself with people who love you. Not people who are going to beat you down.
Yeah.
Right? And so that in itself is vital. So there are lots of different things that people will have to do in order to change their situation. But there are other, it's a gamut. We can have this conversation all day, all 24 hours a day.
And I had
There's so
another
much.
question about a lot of time with mental health, a lot of misnomers and a lot of stigmas is the male versus the female. And now, I don't know if this is related, but usually when you hear a lot of gun violence, oftentimes you will see when they flash the name or flash the pictures, it's usually a male. I don't see a lot of females going into schools, going back on their job, not saying that it doesn't happen or it can't, but I've noticed that the male population are the largest among violence when it comes to gun violence. Is there something connected to maybe men have this fear or this pride that they don't need to help or need to process their thoughts versus females is a little bit different. We always seem to lean towards the female, tell them to get with their sister girl or go on cruises or go and have girl time. We seem to get a lot of therapeutic type thing, but that male bonding seem like they get left out, and they were hurt and wounded as little boys, and they grow up to be violent men. What's going on with that?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Right? And I think what you're saying makes a whole lot of sense, and there's a lot of truth to that, because males are taught not to cry. Males are taught that, suck it up and just deal with it.
Okay.
If you talk about your problems, then you're weak and you're too sensitive.
Yeah.
While women, we're sensitive beings, we're emotional creatures, and we have our sister girls, right? And we cry it out, And men oftentimes are told, like I said, to just keep their feelings bottled up inside.
And that's dangerous, isn't it?
And yes, right. It is very dangerous, because when you talk about suicide, right? Suicide, there are close to about 60, when you talk about from a percentage basis, 68% of women attempt it, right?
Wow.
Right, but here we go. But 78% of men accomplish it. It. Women will take the pills, right? Men will actually, it has to be fatal. They'll take the gun and they'll shoot, and they straight temple.
Wow.
There's no coming back from that.
Wow.
So when you're talking about success, and I hate to even put the word together, success and suicide, but it's been accomplished. And so oftentimes we have to really be very conscientious of men and their feelings, and saying it's okay to talk to someone. It's okay to ask for help. You cannot always do it by yourself. You have to understand that there are people around you that can support you. So when I have men who come into my sessions, or I get a referral and it's a male, I'm excited. I really am. I'm like, and I commend them.
Yes.
Even before I meet them face to face, I have a conversation with them over the phone, and I'll say to them, I commend you. I commend you for having the courage to say I need help.
Yes.
Because it takes a special person to say, yes, things are not going well with me right now.
I like that.
And I need support.
I like that. You hear that, men?
Yes.
You hear that.
And then I also have a 1-800 number that I would love to share with your audience.
Please do.
Right?
We can stop and take time right now before we close out. Give them that 1-800 number that they can call, and they can get some help, or just inquire about where to go and what to do to get the help they need.
Okay, so we have 2 numbers. We have NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and it's 24 hours. They're national. 24 hours, 7 days a week that you can call. It also acts as a crisis line as well. So if you are feeling like there's no way out, there is a person on the line, and many volunteers, right, who are on the line that will pick up, and they will share your information with, 911. Or in addition to that, they'll also give you resources such as places that you can go. Absolutely. And so that number is 1-877-648-8531. Excuse me, 8631. That number again is NAMI 877-648-8631. And then we also have a mental health crisis number, which is another and there's a lot of support here in the United States, in the district, for those who are feeling suicidal, for those who feel like things are not going well. I mean, of course, it's been in the media where you had 2 celebrities, who you thought had it all, and decided to take their life.
Yes.
So if it can happen on that level, on that scale, right? We're talking about Anthony Bourdain, who on CNN.
One of my favorites.
Yes, he was awesome. And then also you had Kate Spade, the designer, who took her life. And then, of course, you think of, what's his name? Oh, my goodness. Mark and Mindy. Robin Williams, who you thought had it all.
Yes.
Right? Robin Williams, right? And so there are resources. So if it's up that level of, you're talking about celebrity status and having the wealth that they need to get the support that they want, but then see that there's no way out. Can you imagine what's happening on this end?
Yes.
Right. So the other phone number is 866-725-5247. And that is just a mental health crisis number. And then NAMI again is 877-648-8631.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Natasha.
My pleasure.
I hope that you wrote down these numbers. If not, you can go on the website and just put in NAMI.
N-A-M-I.
N-A-M-I, and you can find their website and their toll-free number, or you can go to any mental health website here locally and pull that information up. But one of the things I will encourage you to do, again, mental health affects all of us. So there's no one left out. No one. It affects us directly or indirectly. It may be you, or it may be someone that you know. Whether they live in the house with you, whether it's a neighbor or a friend, a co-worker, you know the saying, if you see something, say something. Let's not wait till things escalate, but call. And if you see someone, as Natasha says, that scale that brought me back, thank you for that visual, that scale of 1 to 10, and you've seen that person change, and you've seen that person maybe not able to get back to where they were, don't wait, because oftentimes the warning signs are always there. What we do, we ignore them. and we'll say, oh, they'll do better. Oh, they just need this. No, no, no. People's lives are too precious. Remember, I told you, God created you for a purpose. Yes. You have a purpose. You have something to give to us in this world. You have a talent. You have a gift. You have a skill. That means we need your supply. And we don't need you half-stepping. We don't need you out there feeling lonely. There is no reason why you should be alone or you should go through anything alone. There's too many people. One gentleman I know used to always tell me, Nike, stop going around people who tolerate you, but get around people who wants to celebrate you. So awesome. I want you to find those celebratory people that will celebrate you. And as Natasha and I said, that you post some affirmation, even if you just say, I am loved, I'm made in the image of God. That starts with the affirmation, because as a man think, so is he. And Natasha, we must have you back, because we only touched the surface. Yes. We want to talk about some of the warning signs. We want to talk about what goes on in a therapy treatment. We want to talk about some post things that people can do, that just because I'm back at 10, we still go through life. Last week I talked about transitioning. Everybody has a transitional phases that they go through, whether it's the death of a loved one, or it's going into midlife crisis, or a child going off to college, or a divorce. So just because you're good today, something could trigger a transition and set you back. So we need to talk about, what do I do? So with the licensed trained therapist, and go, Natasha, tell them how they can find you, your website, and how to find you again.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at Etiquette Coach for You. And also my website is freedomrevealed.com. Freedom revealed, because I believe that there's freedom when information is shared with you, and it reveals. When it's revealed to you, it's liberating.
Yes,
it's empowering. So that's freedomrevealed, .com, and then my email address is freedomrevealed for you at gmail.com. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me on your show.
No, thank you for coming, and we want to thank all our special guests in the studio today, beginning with Louis Hightower with Papa and Friends. And by the way, Louis Hightower works at Waldorf Chevrolet and Cadillac on Crane Highway in Waldorf, Maryland. We want to shout out to our very own Star Imports right here at 4711 Off Place. If you have any luxury needs in cars with Jaguars, Mercedes, BMWs, come by and see Doc Rivers at Star Import. And I have my very, very own Antoinette Davis. I have her books here. She's an author. She's a marketer as well. Let's Go Holy Spirit and Surrender to Your Calling. So you have a calling on your life. So we need you to have those mental health checkups so that you can add your supply. You can visit AntoinetteDavis.com. Her books are on Amazon. And again, I also want to thank Nicole Tucker for coming in to share with us that she is working her talent and gift by wanting to help you if you have gone through crisis or you need that help and that support. Visit integrityenterprise.com. Go on her website. Again, if all of these numbers and these names tend to slip your memory, just go on voxwave.com. You will see QET show, and I will get you in touch with each and every one of them because they have services to offer you. They have their gifts and talents that no one can do what they're doing. And they're especially equipped to handle what they're doing. So again, go on voxwave.com and look for QETV, and I will connect you and make sure that you get in touch with the right resources. And again, call that crisis hotline NAMI, did I say that right? NAMI. That's 877-648-8631. There's someone 24 hours a day. And if push come to shove, if you just have to hit 0, hit the operator or 911 or 411, it doesn't matter. Get the help and the support you need. This ends our day. And again, thank you for viewing QETV live show with your host, Miss H. Remember, think big. Someone needs you. Thank you.